Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I want to talk a little bit about how I made this soundtrack for a fan fiction on YouTube. Actually, for the Stranger Things fan fiction, Stranger Things 6 reunion for Cadence Cut. I'm actually talking about the first episode right now. I did 11 scores that were used in this episode. There were two scores more created, but those scores weren't used for the first episode. They will be used for the second episode. That's also the reason why they didn't release. And I will not talk about these two. I will talk about the 11 scores I made and they were used. I will talk a little bit about how I made them exactly. I will a little bit talk about how I intended them to make in the first place, what their histories are, and how I made this score connect in a way that it sounds fitting to the scene. I need to keep this as short as possible since I don't want to talk for hours about how exactly I made those tracks. So let's start with how I made them physically, how they came to life. So I used my Yamaha Modex M8. You can see a picture right here. And I also used my computer, of course. There are the two ways I made those tracks. It's pretty simple, if you will say it that way. I played on the Yamaha, of course, to make those tracks. Uh, the track. And I used my computer to make some tracks digitally. Which just means, like I showed in one of my posts before, that the keys are played digitally. It's not a big difference. It just means that I can have more control over the track in a way. But that's not the important part of today. I will not show you how I put the tracks together in detail. I will show you one of the sound maps for one track, but not for everything, of course. So I will talk a little bit about the history of the tracks. I started with the intro. I did not know that the intro would be remixed with the Stranger Things original intro, which was pretty interesting. It worked pretty well, in my opinion. Uh, there were other people saying it didn't work, so I'm sorry. I did not know this, okay? I did not plan on making it fitting, but somehow some parts fit pretty well. So there are basically two synths. We got the clavy synth making the main theme, and then we got the bass synth being a dystopian synth. And this dystopian synth was basically supporting the main track and giving it a little bit more of the nostalgic feeling I think all of these Stranger Things tracks need. Let's get to some other tracks. I will not talk about every single track, but I will pick some more important ones. So I want to talk about the two tracks that changed in the middle. They were both about Mike and his girlfriend, or Mike in general, being the coffee cups track and also the Dodge the Question track. Both tracks start in a similar way, and I wanted them to start as similar because I knew it would both be about Mike and his girlfriend, so I wanted them to be alike, to sound similar, to make it fitting for the characters. Like in the Lord of the Rings score, the tracks are fitting with the location where we're at. It's a little bit in the same way here. So I made them fitting in this way, and also in the scary parts, they are fitting since this is literally the same synth used for both, just in a little bit different way. It's not just the same, but it's a new version. Let's say that way. They are new versions of each other. They're abruptly changing. I was really scared to do this at the first, before when I first read Caden's description of the track. I was scared. How am I going to do this? I've never done this really before. I've done it one time before, but I really failed. This track was on YouTube for a short time. It was for a trailer. It's not here anymore. Yes, it's here. Oh, I completely forgot about that. You can actually listen to this track. I will not tell you where to find it, but it's on my channel somewhere. The track I'm talking about right now where I tried some of these transitions earlier, but I didn't really get what I wanted. It was a really abrupt uh, change in the track that didn't really work at all. But this time I actually figured out how I wanted to do it. I was starting with the main theme, the calm theme, and then to change it all, I singled it down in each track. I singled it down to one note of the calm track. Then I made a dissonance and I changed it with a big boom both times. It's actually the same boom sound I used also for the exit voice track and the sleep painting track. And that's how I changed the emotions pretty quickly in these two tracks. Yeah, sleep painting, another great track. Caden said it's his favorite one, so we should definitely discuss this one in detail, since it's also one of my favorite tracks and it was the hardest one to make. It starts off like a lullaby, like a song you would play to when you put your child to bed or something. So it's very calm. In the beginning, we got those sleepy tunes. We got some synth in the back to support it, and then I pretty much did the same thing like in the Mike and his girlfriend tracks. I singled it down to one note and made a dissonance, and then the boom sound hits. But it's not these saw wave synths I used for the coffee cups track. This time it's a choir, because I knew it's about Will, and the choir is always fitting when it's about Will and something Vecna-like stuff, some magic, strange stuff happening. Then a choir is very fitting, and I also knew that Caden. I think Caden likes choirs, so I thought, yeah, I should probably take a choir for that. Got a great male choir used for this one. It rises up, and then the most interesting, most expressive part starts where the choir and the synth play a rhythm at the same time. These rhythms are not the same one, which adds in a little bit to this confusion the track should have. And but they're also fitting in a way. They make it really suspenseful, and I can actually show you the sound map for this track, since I saved it. You can now see it on the screen. You can see many spots where I put the notes, how long they will play, and stuff like that. You can really say how the rhythm started off by playing those sleepy notes. Pretty simple, of course, but really working, since lullaby is not often very complicated in this rhythm. And then you can say the single down note, the dissonance, and then the choir starting to set in. You can see the choir is rising by adding more. Actually, it's in the end it's 4 different choir parts that make up this whole choir synth, and then we get to the synth part. And then I think the end of this track is also pretty good in my opinion. I don't want to brag or anything, but I really liked how it turned out, because in the beginning, when I make a track, I don't know how it will look like in the end, how it will sound like. But you create so much tension in this track, and you need to resolve into this in the end, so the viewer is satisfied, the listener is satisfied, and yeah, that's what I did with the synth going down and the choir singling to 2 notes, as you can see in the end of the track. Yeah, those are the tracks I wanted to talk about. I don't know if you want to hear more about the tracks or not. I wanted to keep this a bit shorter. Or didn't want to talk about all of the tracks. Your time is valuable, and you may not want to sit here for a long time talking about every single track. So I chose the most important ones, and that's it for today, guys. I hope you have a nice day, and I hope you noticed some changes. I'm actually recording with a camera now. Okay? So, see you guys. Have a nice day. Bye bye.